So if you wanted to build a golf cart to take the trash cans out to the end of the driveway, I think this cart may be a little bit over the top.
GolfCartingTV is your inside source for the coolest upgrades, mods, and accessories to take your trusty golf cart from drab to fab.
Hey there, welcome back to GolfCartingTV. My name is Matt with Converted Carts. Happy to have you back with us today. So today we are getting into something that's a bit over the top and certainly not what you would expect to be a cart that's built mainly to transport trash cans from the house to the road. But that's what this is. So we're going to jump in here in just a sec. First, I wanted to shout out to Yada Golf for the fabulous flamingo shirt that I got on today. If you like loud and crazy and silly shirts, check out Yada Golf. Otherwise, I think we're ready. Let's jump in and take a look at this thing. Hey, so I am here today with Tony from Cart City Customs. They've got a great YouTube channel and they do a lot of fun builds and even just some of the behind the scenes stuff about what goes on in a golf cart shop. They're based out of Canyon Lake out in California. And so Tony, we've got a pretty sweet looking cart sitting there behind you today. So why don't you give me a little history of this build, and then we can kind of walk through what in the heck you've done here with what looks to be a grave digger back there.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. Christmas time, we had a customer call in and say, hey, I've got this cart-ish, if I could call it that, and it's pretty rough, and I want to figure the thing out. I think he had just bought it, and the whole idea was, a little Christmas present for his son, with the idea of his son being able to take out the trash on their property. Verdict's still out if he takes out the trash now, but the cart's done, So yeah, this cart started as a Yamaha G1 frame. And if you're familiar with the G1, it's a 2-stroke motor with a transmission or a differential that does not have any gear split, because the 2-stroke would run forward or run reverse. And so they have a Predator motor in here. So when the thing came in, it just went forward. That's it. And so he had a few wish list items that he wanted to say, like, hey man, is there any way that we can, make it go reverse? Is there a way that we can make it look like Gravedigger? Just a bunch of other things. And Tim, our fabricator, and we kind of got together and just said, all right, of what he wants, how can we make something that hits all the points, and then of course, like, try to keep it under budget. I mean, I don't think the guy was planning on spending 10 grand on a cart. He really was just like, I just want a Christmas present for my son. So we completely tore this thing apart. Ended up getting a donor cart, EZGO TXT, a 2001 gas. And that's where our differential came from. So we took that old Yamaha differential out of there, got the TXT differential, and once we had that cart, we were like, well, all right, we're just going to completely restart on the frame. So,
well, that is awesome. So let's take a look at some of that. We can start underneath and see what this thing, what you've done at this thing.
Yeah, so if you see from our donor cart, the 2001 TXT, we stole the fundamentals of the EZGO front suspension. So, we've got the TXT hubs, and this is an extended bar, so we actually replaced that middle section. We were able to keep the stock TXT steering gear, and that really made the whole steering process a whole lot better. The customer, actually, we delivered it like right around Christmas. And he was actually just wanting to see if we can get a little bit more brake. So that's why it's actually here back at the shop. We put Jake's disc brake conversion kit on it. A little bit more fabrication necessary to make this whole thing work out, but the brakes look awesome on there. And the beautiful part about trying to keep to some standards when building custom stuff like this is that we can still use these off the shelf parts and still make these things work pretty well. So yeah, everything up front is, easy go, we'll say in quotes, air quotes. And then, like I said, that easy go differential got swapped out. And so we now have forward and reverse, and it lined up really well. We had to get a custom belt made for the length that we to make this thing all work out. But from ground up, this was a Yamaha build. We ended up actually taking also the front frame section off of that donor cart as well, and welding that in to kind of convert a little bit more of this TXT, and then a full custom wrap. So we had a designer work through and get kind of all this stuff mapped out on a TXT body. The top, we had, designed that out to have the grave digger just above the back seat there, down to the names on the graves. So he wanted Tupac, Ted Bundy, Easy E, your name here, old dirty bastard. I mean, just the fine-tuned details of every part of this build is really what made it super impressive. We've
What is
got
that material that you use for the roof and that top cover thing?
so this is basically just a double-sided, gosh, it feels like
Like a vinyl?
not quite vinyl. It is cloth. It is cloth.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be like a polyurethane kind of material. I'm pretty
Gotcha.
sure that's what it is.
Obviously weather resistant and stuff like that. So I mean, it looks great, but also will stand up to the test of time, I assume.
Yeah, when we printed it, it didn't come with the eyelets in it, so we did have to go ahead and, put eyelets every couple inches, and, stole a little bit of the token from the sail tops that you see on golf carts, and I'm like, you know what, that'll look really cool. We'll just wrap it in some paracord, um, and really look, it it was crazy. I mean, we really just pieced this thing together to make it really work out. And paired with some we got the Exo Gear 32-inch 33-inch Elite on here. We also wanted to get a bunch of underglow and some lighting, and we've got our headlights down here because that's actually where we need headlights when you're up this high. And kind of a
Tell me a
key.
little bit about how big are those tires and wheels that you got on there. I saw there's some spacers in there. Tell me a little bit about what you've got there.
Yeah, so these are 30-inch tires on a 14-inch rim. Yeah, so we have the Razor wheels on here. When you start looking at Razor wheel options, there's definitely quite a bit more, especially in the bigger tire size options. And things like this, things like our next build coming up, these tires are just so big that it may even be a better option to look into what UTVs are offering for wheels and tire packages, because there's quite a bit of options when we start crossing over from golf carts to UTVs, and
Right.
hard
And
to
so
say.
what you did there is you've got a 4-bolt, basically a 4-bolt spacer, and then that's got to then go through the adapter, which is a 5-bolt setup. Is that what's the main difference with
Well,
the ATV wheels?
they still are 4-bolt. They're just
Okay.
spacing is significantly more, and the threads The lugs themselves are a little bit thinner. So I forget what the measurement is, but if it's 4 by
101 or whatever. Yeah.
it's just a little bit bigger than that.
Got
So
it. Got it.
yeah, it's really cool. And, then we could start looking at like beadlock options and things like that, because there's not a lot of beadlocks for golf carts. And we do
Right.
have customers that either like the beadlock look or actually do want to have beadlocks on their golf cart, which is very interesting. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
but yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this thing is unbelievable. We've got, true Heim joints in here for, to really get some articulation, which is, just something you definitely don't get in a golf cart. That
Yeah, and
amount.
all that, everything I'm seeing in purple, my guess is that's all custom built and bent and all that kind of stuff. Like you said, that doesn't come off the shelf from anywhere, I'm guessing.
Oh no, unfortunately not. And the coolest part about this whole chassis, should we ever want to, it is U-bolted in. So the whole body would actually lift right off of this rolling chassis.
Huh.
So
That's awesome.
what combines these together is 4 U-bolts wrapped around the frame, and whatever electrical connectors and stuff like that. But the idea is that we were going to build a full rolling chassis, and then make the body mesh to that. We wanted to put mesh here instead of a floorboard, just because we are so high up. It's hard to see where you're actually going when you're up this high.
That can be a problem whenever you're driving, when you're driving something. That's hysterical.
If you're going over rocks and stuff like that, you can at least see where you're going and things. So yeah,
So you mentioned this guy got this for his son, and kind of the ultimate goal was to drive to the mailbox. So like, in order to get to the mailbox, is there, smashed cars that have to be driven over and oversized rocks and some guy back in the back corner saying, Monday, Monday, Monday.
yeah.
Got the whole thing going on the property, I guess.
Yeah, it is a huge property. He's out in kind of the Sticks area, and his driveway is, I want to say, is probably a little bit short of a mile from where the house is.
Wow.
And so those trash cans got to go from the house all the way out to, the street there. So they've got a little trailer for this thing, which is actually why they requested we put a little tow hitch on the back. So they hook up their little trailer here. He pops the trash cans on the trailer and then drives it out to the street, drops these things off. But the property's really cool. There's a lot of things that, they have a little fire pit where they can, bring the firewood down to, and yeah, just a big property where they would actually be able to use this thing for, some light off-roading. It's still a golf cart. But they're able to do some things. If you watch one of our videos, we actually ended up pulling this thing off the side of a hill because they kind of thought it was a razor, but it's definitely not a razor. It's just a really
we will make sure to link to the. I've seen several of the episodes. I know you track this build, so it's really cool. So for those who are watching and haven't seen the channel yet, again, it's Kart City Customs on YouTube, and Tony and his team there track the whole process of this build, plus a bunch of other things that are going on around the shop and stuff. But yeah, it was a interesting watch to see it have to be pulled up a cliff basically in order to get it out from the valley wherever it got stuck. So that's pretty cool. Awesome, Tony. Well, thanks so much for joining us again today. And again, you can find Tony and his team at Kart City Customs on YouTube. And Tony, anything else you want to share as far as how to find you, where to find you, social medias, websites, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, follow along. Ultimately, what we want to do, just like Matt with what we're doing here, is just, the golf cart industry needs some entertaining stuff, and we want to put that stuff out there and show a little bit more of, what we love doing every day, in and out, something a little bit different. We do own a local shop here in Canyon Lake, California. So, if you guys are in the Southern California region, you do need service, mobile service, cart sales, things like that. We do all that. But, our main goal with builds like this and sharing a little bit of what our day-to-day is in a shop and really the industry and pushing the industry forward. That's what we want to do, and we want people to enjoy their carts and you know realize that you don't necessarily need to pull the parts out of a book to do something crazy. It sure does help, but it is endless what you can do with these things, and we're super thankful to customers that do come through our shop and just kind of give us their ideas and say, man, is this possible? Well, absolutely. With that, that's really it. I mean, that's what we want to push with Cart City Customs is just showing people what the industry is all about, and why we do what we do and why we love what we do every day.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Tony. Really appreciate the time.